So we kind of understood and learned about the four requirements of trading and four requirements of anything in life. Good. I'm glad if you're kind of ready to kind of go deeper onto that. Never really helped you. I'm glad and go deeper. Now let's kind of jump on and understand what are these various stages of mind. It's all about the mindset, right? What we're talking about, right? So now once you do those basic stuffs, overcome your myths, have the right belief system, understand the four requirements, and whatever is the right one, you kind of balance all the four. Once you start do that, your mind will start to evolve, and you need to reach that state of mind which is tranquil. Once it's tranquil, you will see you are naturally in the zone of abundance, because if you see nature is tranquil, and we are part of the nature, and that's how we have to be. That's how we were born to be. Just that we have added all the extra layers around that. We just have to kind of discard those and throw those away. When we do that, we kind of just fall into that zone of tranquility. And in that zone of tranquility, when you kind of do anything, be it business or stock market or your job or your relationship, everything will be to your best ability and capabilities. Right? Of course, each one of us have inherently, some kind of capability which we develop. Right? So, for example, there are people who paint beautifully. I don't know how to paint, so that's a capability which has been developed. I have my own capabilities. So, in whatever capabilities you are, you will be the best, and naturally, those capabilities you will be able to cultivate and kind of raise it to the topmost level of your own ability. Right? And that is what will happen once you realize and work on your mindset. So now let us kind of understand what are all the stages of mind. If you're ready to kind of dwell into the stages of mind, type in the comment, ready to dwell into my mind. Type in the comment, ready to dwell into my mind. Awesome. So what are those? So from this is again people coming in from my experience. This is not from any textbook or from any other learning. No, this is purely all of this is my personal experience, which I've kind of gone through, through various of my own practices and understanding, and market has helped me discover myself immensely. So for me, market is one of my masters. Well, I have many masters who have kind of helped me be what I am, but market is one of the masters, who I simply bow down to it every time, and it takes care of me, whatever it has to be done to me, right? So if you are at the right mindset, it kind of takes care. So for me, market is my master, market is my mother, something like that is what I kind of treat. So if you can kind of treat it like that, great, right? So now what are the stages? The first stage of the mind is called as the belief stage. I believe. Now what is this I believe stage? Like I told you already, right? Most of us have certain beliefs which we live with based on our conditioning, based on our environment, and so on and so forth. So in this stage, when you are in stage of belief, most of us are here actually. Let me kind of be very honest and straightforward. Most of us remain here, and unfortunately many of us die here. Right? And we only live in beliefs and beliefs and beliefs. Beliefs are beliefs. Like it's like we all know we have two hands, right? I don't have to believe that I have two hands. I know that I have these two hands. So, but many of us keep our hands this way behind and only believe that I have two hands. Yes, what is the use of belief? You're not even using your hands, right? It is okay not to believe, but know that you have two hands and use them. So many of us actually are stuck at the belief stage. So what happens in belief stage is, if you're in the belief stage, there are a lot of reiteration has to be done about, yes, this is what is right, you are great, you constantly need to be affirmed again and again and again. And you need to, you become like a fan following. You need somebody whom you always have to get inspired, always have to remain motivated, right? And you need somebody to keep preaching you, right? Like for example, when I was a kid, when I was growing up, if only my mother told me to study, I would study, otherwise I would not. She would constantly come and say, study, study, study. Right? I needed her to push me, right? Otherwise, simply no. And for me, I would always look up for I lived in my joint family, right? I would look up to my older cousins and all my friends, neighbors who are older than me, and I would be fan for, oh, he's great, I'm going to do like that. So I did not have anything of my own. It was always on the outside, right? I was getting preached, and many times what happens is if you live through beliefs, we get indoctrinated into believing something which we don't even know whether it's true or not. Many of them kind of all of their life believe that business is not good, and they live like that and they die like that. It's unfortunate, right? I'm not saying job is bad. I'm not at all saying that. I'm saying you don't have to believe anything. You have to be able to examine everything and know your truth. So in this stage, when you're in this stage, your mind is constantly wavering. It is not stable. Today it will believe this, tomorrow it will believe that. Another day, one more thing, and keeps on jumping from one belief to another belief. You are never settled. And this is our state mostly. So I want you to examine, is this happening to you? It was happening to me. It happens to me even now many times. It is not that once you reach some other stage, you don't fall back. It's a constant thing because we are human beings. We are in this society which has got a lot of influence. When we allow those influence to play on us, it happens. Right? But you got to be aware that you have gone into that thing, and how do I come out of that? Right? So this is the first stage of belief, where the mind is wavering. And from here, the second stage is the stage of I know. It's like knowing, stage of knowing through your experience, But for you to get there from the wavering mind or from the belief stage, you got to do certain things. What are those things you have to do? You have to do these things like research on whatever subject you're learning, whatever you're kind of doing. Go deeply, research that, discover it for yourself, right? You're learning now, so discover what comes out. Adapt to that new environment quickly. The more quickly you adapt, so now you've kind of taken up DST, you're going to be part of our community. If you can adapt to that quickly and fastly, you will leave behind all those non-supportive. You will be in the new zone, right? Practice and habits. You got to be constantly practicing what you learn here and be in the right habit, right? So again, in our long-term program, we do a lot of work to make you move from one stage to another and get all of this implemented. We work on your habits, we work on your fears, we work on your beliefs, right? And we kind of help you with all of those things. So now in this know stage, if you are in the second stage, once you do all of these things consistently, you move to the know stage. In the know stage, what happens is you're typically unlearning things and learning new things. You will be willing to unlearn and learn, unlearn and learn and unlearn. And that's what the life is, people. It's always learning and learning and learning. Only when you are constantly learning, you are actually experiencing life. Because it's an experience. Life is an experience. If you do not learn, you are stagnated, you are dead. And you are not experiencing life. So learning is the only means for us to experience life. Right? You got to learn, So unlearn the old things, learn the new things. Then you become mentor following. What does it mean? Somebody who has done that is what you will follow. You will not go behind those who simply preach but never done. We do trading. Whatever we do is what we share and teach. Right? So I'm a mentor. At the same time, I'm a coach as well. Right? If we don't do it, if we have not done it, we don't share that. Got it? So then when you are mentor following, there will be exchange of ideas which you will do with people. Exchange of idea, not gossip. And then you will be result driven. What if you do this, what is going to happen? Like I told you, if you do apply this system will result in this. How do we know that? Because we have tested that. We have tried that. We have used that. Right? And that is what happens. So you tend to become much more pragmatic and not go with hearsay. You will examine everything. At least examine and see for yourself. And see whether it really works. Not go by just the hearsay. And when you reach this stage, your mind is settling mind. It is much more settling. From the wavering, continuously wavering, it comes to somewhat settling. Not too much of waves up and down, right? Just a little bit settling. So in the settling mind, you are much more deeper. You know much about yourself. You know what the market is doing, right? You look at it pragmatically. Don't get carried away by your emotions. Beliefs bring only emotions. And emotions becomes your driving thing, which is dangerous and disastrous in the market. Right? I'm not saying emotion is bad. I'm only saying it is not supportive. We need emotions in different scenarios, not here. Here you got to be pragmatic. Right? So that is what happens in this stage. You are in a settling mind stage. And from here, you get into the third stage. That's what I believe is the highest state of mind, which is the get stage. I get it. Knowing is one thing, getting is totally different thing, people. Getting is something which is deep in your experience. You have gone through it completely and you have it. It's like this. You believe you're going to jump. You believe you can bungee jump. You know that you can bungee jump. You've got every detail of it. You've spoken to 10 different people who have jumped. You know, yes, I can do it. But you get that bungee jumping only after you've really jumped. Right? You can read 10 different books on bungee jumping, but you'll still not get it. You can do a thesis in bungee jumping, but you will never get it. Einstein said this, that at the end when he was asked a question, what is the biggest regret for your life? He said, my only regret is I deduced everything. I deduced great things in science, but I've never been able to experience it. And in my next birth, he said, if there is a birth, he said, in my next birth, I want to be able to experience that and get it. He knew everything, but he did not get it. That's a sad part, right? Isn't it good? It's okay you don't know, but can you get it? Can you make it to your experience? And this is why some of the people who are very less in knowledge, so-called knowledge, but they have gotten it. And they live through that experiential life. And for them, everything is absolutely smooth and it kind of simply goes. So you got to get into that stage of getting it. In order to get that from the settled mind, you have to take actions. Action. Life has to be action. If you are not taking action, you will not get it, people. So get into the mode of taking action in every bit. Introspect, go deep. You will not get an answer outside. Answer is inside you. Go deep. Always benchmark your own self. Do not compare with others. See how were you yesterday compared to today. Can you be better than what you were yesterday? Can you do great things than what you did yesterday? And keep improving. Get into the routine and rhythm of life. And once you do that, you get into this stage of get. Consistently you got to do that. And in this stage of get, you are experiential living. Experiential learning. All the learning happens to you through your experience. Right? You really get to do the trade. Once you take the trade and live through the trade, you know what does it really mean to do trading. Experiential living. Experience becomes here. Then you start to invent ideas. Instead of exchanging and discussing ideas, you will start to come up with your own ideas. Right? And then you will be society wellness driven, not your personal result driven. You would look for the entire community to grow. And that's why we created this Trade to Transform as a community of traders, where we live together like a community and we trade together. My endeavor and our team's endeavor, our organization endeavor is to help people achieve and experience freedom of life. Each one of them who come in contact with us, and that's why we do what we do, people. Right? Given that, once you reach that state, once your organization reaches that state, once your thinking reaches that stage, you will only look at every action of yours. How can it help 10 other people? How can it improve the lives of others? When you keep doing that, your life is simply elevated and it kind of gets lifted up, right? And that's what happened. And once you reach this state, you are an evolved mind. So it's a 3 stages. You just cannot jump on to being an evolved mind. You got to go through those stages and see what kind of really happens to you, and then you reach the state of evolution, be that evolved mind. And that's what I wanted to share with all of you guys, right? So now you got to kind of know for yourself in which stage of mind are you. Be honestly brutal for you. Wherever you are, you start your journey being honest and knowing that is 50% job done. Then it just kind of moves up, and we are there. to help you in each of those stage and hold your hand and take you to that stage where you kind of get everything and you remain in the zone of abundance by removing all the blocks. So if you're ready to discover your mind and get into the evolved mind, type in the comment, ready for evolution, ready for evolution. Awesome. Keep introspecting and try to discover what stage of mind you are. And I'll see you in the next video where we'll talk about all the ingredients of mindset. Bye bye. See you in the next video.